In 2022, when I graduated college, I was recommended this book by Dale Carnegie called How to Stop and Start Living. During this time, I was so worried about my future, what I was gonna do with it. I just graduated college and I was feeling so scattered, like applying to so many corporate jobs, looking at all my options, seeing if I wanted to get my master's right away. It was just an overwhelm of like, welcome to the real world, and I felt so unprepared and not ready for this step, even though I had worked my whole educational career to get there. Once I was there, it was like, holy crap, what am I gonna do? So yeah, I was recommended this book because I was so worried, and honestly, it did not help my worry. Sure, it did at the time, like ease some of it, but I still was worried. I was like, okay, but still, what am I gonna do? But now, looking back, it's now 2024, I'm like, wow, I think I did learn the importance of not worrying in other areas of my life. If it wasn't my career at that time, I found it in other ways. So in this book, he explains how worrying can actually make you sick. Huge business people would be in the hospital with stomach ulcers because they were so stressed out. There's no other cause to it other than their worry and stress that caused these stomach ulcers. So worrying actually affects your health, your well-being. So if you're experiencing these stressors on a daily basis, of course your body is going to react because it needs to like help you calm down, and in a way it's going to attack certain parts of your body, and it's just going to be a whole thing. That's how stomach ulcers are typically made. I just want to remind you, and myself honestly, like every time I look back in my life to how things panned out, I realized, wow, it always worked out for the better. Maybe in the moment it didn't feel like it, but looking back, you can always see, wow, I was always taken care of and things always worked out. Even when the worst case scenarios in life happens, sometimes it just works out, you know? I'm gonna give a really big example in my life is I used to worry so much about getting pimples, about acne. I would research so much about like how to have perfect skin. I would see estheticians. I would watch YouTube videos on it. I would try new products. I would talk about it to my friends and family, like, oh my God, I'm so insecure, blah, 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 about my skin. Like, what can I do to help it? And it was just like this big ordeal that I made in my life, and I worried about it and I stressed about it. And the more I did this, the more acne I would notice. And I felt so defeated because I was like, I'm literally trying everything and nothing's working. One day I just realized this was not working and it was just making me feel like crap. So I needed to find a new solution. I knew that it was causing me way too much worry, way too much stress, and that was not helping my skin. So I just needed to stop. I needed to stop watching the videos. I needed to stop seeing my esthetician. I needed to stop using all these active ingredients and just let my face calm down and breathe. I needed to stop talking about it with my friends and family. I just needed to take all my attention off of my skin, because that was literally what was causing my acne to continue. And of course I had relapses of like, oh no, there's this, but I was like, nope, I needed to take a step back and calm down and not let it be such a big thing, because at the end of the day, I was fine, everything's okay, everybody gets little bumps now and then, it's not the end of the world. And the more I just like backed off from the topic, it just became not a part of my life. I wasn't talking about it, I wasn't watching videos anymore, my focus went elsewhere. And then one day I looked in the mirror and realized, hey, I haven't gotten any pimples or anything for a while. And that was such a breakthrough. It was like, wow, I just took my attention off of this thing that I was so worried about, so stressing about, and just didn't focus on it. And boom, my skin naturally cleared up itself because I stopped worrying, I stopped stressing, I stopped putting so much attention and energy on my face, and instead just let it be and relaxed, and boom, it showed. My skin was like, thank God she stopped looking at me, so now I can just heal myself, because your body honestly wants to heal itself. Like your body wants you to be healthy. Your body does its job every day to make you feel good. And if you are worrying and stressing, it's just adding more for your body to figure out and try to make calm. But if you just relax, your body will be able to align and function the way it's supposed to. This is just like one of the many examples in my life, because I think I do tend to be a worrier sometimes because I like to know the outcomes and I like to feel like I'm in control. Another example, I would worry so much about friendships, about losing people that I cared about, even though I know maybe the relationship had run its course, but I would be like, no, I'm not ready for this person to be out of my life. So I'd worry about the friendship. I'd put so much more energy into it than was needed. And once I realized, you know what, I'm gonna be okay without this person, you know, like I don't need this person in my life. And if we've outgrown each other, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And the moment I did step back, of course, those relationships did fall apart, and it's really painful to lose people you care about in your life. But I became so much happier because I stopped worrying about this relationship, about keeping it in my life. And once I just took a step back and let, you know, life take its course, I felt a lot better, and I was able to make new friends that are better aligned with me. And it was just a great opportunity to let those people go and meet new people who would fulfill a better role in my life. Again, relaxing just lets life flow, lets the cycle flow, and it's magical what happens when we stop trying to control every aspect of our life. Another thing, I used to obsess about foods and my diet because a big contributor I thought was happening was, oh, my skin, like if I have dairy, I'm gonna break out. Oh, if I have too much sugar, oh, if I eat this, you know, I'm not gonna feel good. All these things. And then also like looking at just like chemicals, you know, there's so many TikTok videos of like, don't eat this, don't eat that, or whatever. And so you get in your head about like literally everything you're eating. And I would obsess about it so much. And it wasn't even that I was dieting, I was just trying to find things that were good for me and just being really hard on myself if I maybe didn't get something organic, which is so, like looking back, like took up so much of my time. Yeah, I just don't think it's worth it, because once I came to Spain, I was like, I'm gonna stop that. I'm gonna stop this obsession over needing to eat the healthiest foods, over needing to not eat dairy as much, not eat gluten as much, like all these little unimportant things I put on my plate that were just causing me stress and worry, especially when it came to food. And I just decided to stop caring. So I came to Spain, and gradually I just started to eat more dairy. I didn't care about the bread I was eating. I didn't care about every little detail of my food, and rather I was just focused on enjoying it. And let me tell you this, I used to be lactose intolerant in the United States, and coming here, I can eat as much dairy as I want. Now, I'm not sure if it's because of the chemicals they put in the stuff in the US and the dairy in the US, but when I came here and I stopped worrying about what I was eating and stopped worrying about like being lactose intolerant and just allowed myself to eat good food and relax while eating, I realized, wow, I can eat as much cheese and milk and all that as I want. And how amazing is that? So I think they kind of go side and side. I think maybe my stomach didn't like the chemicals in the US, but also, you know, I stopped worrying about it. I stopped making such a big deal of it. My body was able to relax, and now I can eat mindfully anything I want, you know, everything in moderation, of course, but it feels so much better not like being worried about every little detail in my food, because that just takes up so much time and ruins the enjoyment of just enjoying like a good meal, if you know what I mean. And like being able to eat cheese and not feel guilty about it feels so good, you know, and just being able to enjoy my food. So the message here is just to stop worrying as much as you can. Worrying doesn't help prevent the ups and downs of life. It just causes more resistance to the things you want. It's not gonna allow things to just like flow. And once you stop worrying, you'll look back and realize, wow, like I did with my skin, I was like, the moment I just stopped my attention, my focus, and my worry there and just let it go, it cleared up. Like, it's just so amazing what happens in your life when you worry versus you don't. Worrying is just a state of mind, and if you want to run in that space of worry and stress, you should probably read that book by Dale Carnegie because it will remind you, wow, I don't want to deteriorate my health from all this worry. Just remember, this is not going to help me. So just take a breath, relax, and remember that things always have a way of working themselves out in the end. When you relax, that's when the magic can happen. So yeah, stop worrying. Just stop.